Here's Mahrez, who's having a fantastic season. It's a clever ball, and it's a goal. The diving header from Kevin De Bruyne. What a start for Manchester City.
Watch how he just goes in between a couple of challenges here, gets it onto his left foot. He sees the run of Kevin De Bruyne, who's onside, and Carvajal can't quite get there.
That's good work by Foden. By De Bruyne, and it must be two. Put away by the man in form. Demanded the place in the team, and Pep Guardiola is pretty pleased he picked him now. Gabriel Jesus.
As you mentioned, Foden did.
Valverde. Benzema. Break Modric's way. He makes sure it does. Here's Mendy. Good spell, better spell. Had to get better for Real Madrid, and when you've got Benzema, you've always got a chance. It's yet another goal for this fabulous man from France.
They won the ball back, Toni Kroos, much earlier in the move than that.
Yeah, really. It was a foul by Foden. Fernandinho's loving this. Roaring forward again, and Foden knocks in the header. It is 3-1. Fernandinho on fire as the emergency right back, and Phil Foden arriving in the right place at the right time.
So Fernandinho had space in behind him.
Bypass this time. Benzema trying to take up a position, but Vinicius Junior goes all the way, all the way. It's a splendid response from a player who's a bit culpable with the goal that's scored at the other end.
As it's played into Vinicius Junior's feet.
Zinchenko, they work it right, they work it left. Zinchenko, over the leg of Kroos. And it's led to a goal for Bernardo Silva. So the patience paid off. It led to a piece of penetration here that gives City a 2-goal advantage again.
Tony
Karim Benzema just lifts it over Edison. How about that? Emphasising the Champions League confidence of Real Madrid's great goal scorer, arguably the greatest forward in the world at the moment.
What a great penalty it was, because he was under pressure. Edison had seen those two penalties.
To Matheus Nunes, who gets to the final third. Bernardo Silva plays it back to him. He's in the area. The cross comes in, and City have scored already. And Phil Foden off his knee puts City 1 up already. It was just a lovely exchange of passes, and Bernardo Silva guided it into Matheus Nunes. Reinders whips it in beautifully, and O'Reilly's almost there, and it's turned over the line by Gvardiol. It's his first goal of the season, and City lead 2-0. And the reason that they packed the area and crowd round the goal. Get there with Matheus Nunes in front of Mecha, plays it into Foden. Oh, he's given it away, and now Tanaka, and through to Calvert-Lewin, and City have won it back, and then scored by Calvert-Lewin. City have made a mess of that clearance. They believe there should have been an offside in the build-up. Mecha steps up and saved, and the rebound's in. The rebound's in. Saved by Donnarumma, straight to Mecha, who tucks in the rebound. Matheus Nunes out wide, ball into Cherki. Cherki now, little ball in. Foden, oh, he lost control of it. Then he shoots and scores! Phil Foden! If you're gonna make a go at winning the Premier League title, you've got to find winners in stoppage time.
Denmark and Slovenia at the finals in Germany next year. There's Nunes. Hamilton. What a start! Micah Hamilton, just 20 years of age, on his Manchester City senior debut is now. Well, allowed to go on, and gone a long way, and to roll in his first senior goal for Manchester City. So, Bukhari, and Hwang has put the ball in the back of the net to drag Zvezda back into this. It's Phillips that should settle it. Three different goal scorers tonight for Manchester. In by Hwang. Delivery's good. Delivery was excellent. Alexander Katai with the header.
Savinho gliding gorgeously and playing in Erling Haaland to complete a dazzling City century. The phenomenon, 100 goals in a flash. That is muscle and might, power and poise. The two skippers, Kyle Walker and Bukayo Saka, to talk through those. Meantime, here's Martinelli to drive at Walker and set it back for Calafiori! Oh, it's a beauty! What a strike! What a moment for Ricardo Calafiori to introduce himself to England's big league! Saka takes, Gabriel's in there! Absolutely unstoppable! A force of muscular nature! And Arsenal lead on the champions patch! This is 999. Grealish. Kovacic!
Oh, it's gone off between the benches.
John Stones takes the acclaim. City are out of jail.
Bernardo Silva, always caught looting out. An incredible start. All lined up, expecting a cross to come in from Bernardo Silva. And he saw the chance. He had the room. What a play. Camavinga shimmies away from Grealish. Big deflection. Real Madrid level. Eduardo Camavinga seizes his moment. Little drop of the shoulder to get the movement away that he needed from Grealish. Once the shot was on, hit it. It was billed as a game that was always going to be wide open. It is every bit of that. Here's Vinicius Junior bearing down. That one's beaten Ortega. It's Rodrigo to score another. 2-1 Real Madrid. What a turnaround. Carlo can barely believe it. Rodrigo sent through and he raced. Bernardo Silva. Stones, Foden, a little bit of time. Oh, what a shot! What a goal! What a player! It's a rocket from the homeboy. In the form of his young life. What a stage to do this on.
He's been absolutely brilliant.
Doesn't seem to have any in his game right now. Grealish. Which way this time? Inside. Gvardiol. Nobody saw that coming. His first goal for Manchester City. In a game like this, scored like that. So Modric rolling back the years here, scurrying away from defenders. Vinicius Junior, oh what a shot! What a goal that is! Real Madrid are level again. It's a strike of beauty from Fede Valverde. Is there no end?
Special the way they play out from the back with the wing backs and their insistence on playing through the thirds, and they're now in the final third and the cross comes in and they'll score through Eze, and Crystal Palace tap the ball into the net and City think it should be offside. Palace is celebrating. Eze's tapped it into the back in the Premier League this season as the ball is in from Richards. Richards just levered himself into position, headed it into the back of the net. Shooting position, De Bruyne runs up and hits it in! City 1, Crystal Palace 2. De Bruyne puts the Blues back in the game, and although there was a massive wall in front of him, it goes to Kovacic, into the gap for McAtee. McAtee tries to get round the outside, little dab to the far, De Bruyne's cushion, Gundogan misses it, Marmoush! City 2, Crystal Palace 2. What a game of football. I mentioned that not that long ago City trailed 2-0 here at the Etihad Stadium, came back and won 4. And the ball goes into the box and O'Reilly goes in there and he plays it across and De Bruyne helps it on and Kovacic hits it in and City lead by 3-2. What a turnaround! What a start to the second half! Mateo Kovacic, City 3, Crystal Palace 2. Henderson's long ball to McAtee. McAtee's on the end of it and he's got round Henderson and McAtee round the outside. A 4-2 City. Henderson with another assist and McAtee has just taken part in the most sensational celebration. Lewis gets away from Hughes, prods it to Nico. Nico on to McAtee on the right hand side. Into the box goes McAtee. Little clip over the top up towards Gundogan. Hit by O'Reilly. City 5, Crystal Palace 2. Nico O'Reilly with a side-foot volley, and if there was any lingering doubt, that has gone. The Blues have the points. Scampering into the final third. He plays it out wide and the return goes to De Bruyne. De Bruyne in a crossing position. Haaland scores! Brilliant start from City. Brilliant finish from Haaland. De Bruyne to Haaland. It's becoming a cliche because it's happening time and time again. Matip now advancing into City territory. Has a couple of targets and in the box is Milner. This is good by Liverpool and they've equalised. Brilliant goal, wonderfully worked and put in by Carvalho, and Liverpool weren't behind for long. It's City 1, Liverpool 1, and you have to say that the tempo of this... City have got the ball with Rodri in central midfield. He plays it out wide to Mahrez. Mahrez is onto it. Mahrez hits it. That is a magnificent goal. Riyad Mahrez with an absolutely magnificent finish. He took the ball down, moved inside, found a half a yard of space and bent it into the far corner. He opened the score. Why so often right footers play on the left and vice versa?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's...
Oh, I'll just pause you now because Nunez is onto a through ball. Nunez through on goal. Salah equalises. Liverpool are level within seconds. It was a counter-attack. Nunez darted down, played it into the middle, and Salah put it into the back of the net. Well, the last two times these two sides played in the Premier League here, they ended in 2-2 draws, and both times wide on the left-hand side, plays it short to Palmer. Palmer goes back to De Bruyne. De Bruyne looks up, scoops in a ball. Ake! 3-2 City! Nathan Ake restores City's lead!
fantastic. Be inventive. Be inventive on your corners and do things occasionally quick. Liverpool don't get set. They manage to get 2 on the ball, and it's so simple.
The layoff was mistimed, but he still managed to find Iwobi. Iwobi clips it into Jimenez. Jimenez on the turn. It's not a bad ball, it's a brilliant ball. And Fulham score through Pereira, and City trail 1-0. Well, I said Fulham looked good coming forward. They've just proved it. Lovely ball into the box, and Andreas. They're trailing 1-0. Ilkay Gundogan will whip this one in. Headed back to Kovacic, 1-1. Kovacic hit it, took a deflection, goes into the net, wrong foot's burnt Leno, City are level, and my goodness, Andy, they needed to get level quickly.
And right there, the importance of set plays. You need a little bit of luck. I think it takes a ricochet and then goes into the...
Fulham back in September 2011. Foden puts in a cross into the area, Bernardo Silva traps it, Kovacic is onto it and scores brilliantly! Mateo Kovacic, 2/3 the way to a hat-trick. That was a sumptuous finish. He took the ball on the edge of the area and he just guided it with a little bit of power into the... Drives across the centre circle, plays it out wide to Doku. Doku now can take on Castagna, comes inside Doku, hits the shot into the net! Jeremy Doku! What a fabulous, fabulous goal from the Belgian. He came in off the line, moved it inside, hit across the ball, it had wobble on it. Reece Nelson up towards Rodrigo Muniz, it's in. Fulham are back in the game. I said they weren't done. Rodrigo Muniz has put... company, and he does well. He evades the challenge of Miley, plays it out wide to Walker. Walker on the right edge of the area, now in a crossing position, plays it in low. Oh, that is a cheeky goal. Bernardo Silva with a little back heel drags it into the far corner of the net. Phil Foden has a look of complete disbelief that Bernardo Silva was even capable of doing. The referee waves play on. The ball is in Newcastle possession. Bruno Guimaraes, it's a first time ball to Isak, and Isak's going forward. Walker comes across with him, he's in the penalty area, he hits the shot into the net. It's Newcastle 1, City 1, and you have to say that counter-attack threat was evident before, and it's there again.
Oh, what a finish. It doesn't get any better than that. Just that run on the shoulder.
To Isak did well. Byrne now plays it into the gap for Gordon, and Newcastle are stretching City here. They're getting towards the edge of the penalty area. Gordon's in that penalty area, hits the shot into the net, and Newcastle lead 2-1. Can you believe it? 2 goals in about 3 minutes, and City led, they now trail.
When we talk about quality, we talk about knowing what...
17 minutes to go, they've dominated this second half. They've had chances, but they still can't find this equaliser. Rodri, good ball. De Bruyne now into the final third. De Bruyne now steps in, hits a shy foot into the corner of the net. You know who's back, Kevin De Bruyne. I tell you what, it looked like one of those positions where you thought he was going to go for power. Oh no, sir. He rolls it into the corner of the net. KDB, we've missed you. It's with Kovacic. Kovacic on to De Bruyne. De Bruyne tries to scoop it in towards Bob. Bob is there. Still Bob. Oh, absolutely stunning. Oscar Bob with his first ever Premier League goal. And it's an assist. Of course it's an assist from Kevin De Bruyne. There's only been one team trying to win this game. To Nico, onto O'Reilly. O'Reilly and Foden and Doku. Doku in the left wing position, hits it in low. Haaland, 1-0. He didn't get it earlier. He does do now. 1-0 City. 100 Premier League goals for Erling Haaland. A quite breathtaking piece of finishing from one of the most deadly strikers.
I think Pep will be really pleased.
Here's Haaland. Holds off Anderson, plays it beautifully. Reinders in the middle. Reinders, 2-0 City. Haaland with the assist. Reinders was one of those runs that he showed us so many times in the Wolves game, and to be fair, he's made a few times since. Punched away strangely. Foden on the edge, hits the shot. In! Phil Foden, you little beauty. That is a brilliant goal. He's got a smile as big as the Thames that's just to the left of this ground, and the Blues lead by 3. He's in a crossing position, hits it in low, header in from Smith Rowe, and Fulham are back in the game, and they do get the goal in stoppage time, and suddenly City aren't 3 in front. It was a lovely stooping header by Smith Rowe. Now Reinders and up to Doku. Doku up against Castagna, his international colleague. Doku down the left side, and outside of him is Reinders. Goes to Haaland, he reaches Foden, and Foden makes it 4-1. It was intended for Haaland, but Haaland couldn't reach it. It went to the right foot of Phil Foden, and Phil Foden tucks it into the corner, right in the area where the City fans. Back to Doku down the left wing. Doku into O'Reilly, just behind him, cleared by Bassi, and Fulham lose it to Doku. Doku into the penalty area, hits the shot, deflects in! Doku hit it, it took a deflection, span beyond the goalkeeper. I'm sure it'll be given as Doku's goal, and City now have 5. Fulham 1, City 5. Jeremy Doku. The City penalty area. Iwobi on the edge, hits the shot, 5-2. It's a Goalfest. Iwobi's just placed it into the corner, and maybe this game is not done yet. City 5, Fulham 2. What a match we're having. Looking up, trying to play the right ball. Ball goes on to Smith Rowe and on to Castagna. Cross comes in, Bernardo Silva's in the way, and the shot goes in from Chukwueze. It's 5-3. He's looked dangerous since he's come on, and he's now made this game even more nervy. Donnarumma punches it away, and then back in by Chukwueze. 5-4. 5-4 at Craven Cottage. This game is absolutely extraordinary, and the City fans who thought the game was